I'm Dr. Angie Gonzalez, and this is Your Questions Answered. This week's question comes from Bernice. She asks, how does one learn to be patient with your children as they struggle to learn? Bernice has asked the million-dollar question. How do we find patience when it comes to our children? If you know me, then you know that I have 3 boys, a husband, and 4 dogs. So I have a long history of asking myself, how can I be more patient? I used to think that if they would just do this or just do that, then of course I would find more tolerance and patience. But the truth that we are always going to come back to is that it is really about us, ourselves, and how we view and react to any given situation. Now, Bernice specifically wants to know how to find that lost virtue of patience with her child when he is struggling through the learning process. It is especially difficult with these kiddos when learning is so difficult for them because they have a thinking style that allows them to be intelligent, out-of-the-box critical thinkers, while on the other hand, they're struggling in school and seemingly questioning everything that we suggest in all school figures of authority. Wouldn't it be nice to have some tools to find patience with our children in any given situation? That is what we're talking about here. And it is actually really simple. All this stuff is simple. It's us that make it complicated. So hold on and hear me out about this. The reason we get annoyed, frustrated, or impatient about anything is because we have an expectation that is not being met. And odds are we're taking the behavior from the other person personally as an assault against us. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the real expectation that I have for my child when he is doing homework, reading, doing his chores, getting up in the morning for school? If it is your expectation that your child with dyslexia is going to enjoy homework and sit for an hour straight without asking you any questions, then when he gets up every 5 minutes or continually asks you questions, you are going to get frustrated and lose your patience. If your expectation is that he should be reading better by now and he's not, then you might lose your patience. When I was homeschooling my son with dyslexia, I would get so upset because he could read the word the one day, and then the next day he would read the same word as and. I thought that he just wasn't trying hard enough. And this would end up with me yelling, him crying, and both of us feeling like failures. But when I knew more, I knew better. My expectation changed. Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. Once my expectation changed, he still continued to have difficulties reading, but I no longer reacted with anger and impatience. So it wasn't him, it was me and how I was responding to him. When we control our responses, it is amazing how those around us begin to change. The other thing that I had to realize is that his crying and anger were not about me. So I was able to stop taking his behavior personally. He was acting that way because of his own feelings, core beliefs, and fears. With our kids, we are lucky because our core emotion or feeling towards them is love. And if we go back to that place of love and what we love about them, it becomes simple to say to ourselves, how can I love my child right now in this situation? I was at a conference recently where a parent from the audience asked the person on stage, how do I not get irritated when my 4-year-old wants me to play with her all day long when I have to do things like the laundry? The speaker from stage was great. She said simply, your little girl just wants to be with you. So basically, don't expect her not to want to be with you. Take her with you to do the laundry. Let her help. Enjoy your time with her. This time with our children isn't forever. So, what do you do the next time you feel impatience bubbling up inside of you regarding your child? First, check if your expectation for the situation is reasonable. And if it's not, breathe and readjust. Dr. Miguel Ruiz states in his amazingly relevant book called The Four Agreements that we judge others according to our image of perfection, and naturally they fall short of our expectations. Second, put yourself in your child's shoes. Empathize. Feel what they are feeling. That gives you understanding. And remember, when you know better, you do better. Thirdly, choose to see the situation from a place of love. Ask yourself, what does loving my child right now look like? And lastly, honor who your child came here to be, not who you want them to be. Thank you, Bernice, so much for your question this week. Remember, there is ongoing free content on our Facebook pages, Renaissance Mind and Everyday Parent, soon to be Dr. Angie's Place. On YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Dr. Angie Gonzalez. And there's no period, and Gonzalez ends with an S. And as always, keep it simple.